Hello 108 students, Mr. McHugh here with you. Welcome to whiteboard video number 17. Today my doggies, Cheyenne, Gizmo, and little Molly are going to be with me today. They're going to pretend to be students so I don't feel so alone doing this here. And if you hear some barking, that's them asking questions. Okay, so I had a student ask, Angela, and I thank you for asking this, section 8.5, when we were doing multiplying and dividing radicals. You know, we got our test coming up here. She had a couple questions from 8.5, and I'm going to try this technique of using the whiteboard video, showing how to work the problem out and to help everybody. Now, many students, maybe you're already through 8.5, but I'm trying to help anybody who's still working on getting ready for the test, which is due on Monday. Okay, so here we go. Number 4 out of section 8.5 says simplify the radical, and what it says is take the fifth root of 7y divided by z. Okay, now you look at that, and first thing comes to my mind is to separate the numerator and the denominator with the fifth root. And that's what I did here on your first step. So that's not too bad. But the reason why you take this step here is it helps you get into the mode of going, I've got a radical down in the denominator, and we don't care for radicals. Okay, we just don't like them, so we have to rationalize it. Okay, now that's a phrase mathematicians came up with to tell you we got to come up with something that's equivalent to 1. Anything stacked on top of each other equals 1. Can we figure out what that could be so that when we multiply the denominators, we would end up with no radical? Okay, so that's our challenge. So let's think about this for a second. Now, this is the fifth root, and my first tip to help you figure this out is this is z to the what? If you don't see an exponent, you can pop up the 1. Okay, I'm going to try to make that stand out. The reason I like doing that is inside the radical signs, z to the first times z to the what could give me z to the fifth. That's what you're trying to answer here. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that, z to the fifth. So if you set this up here, here's what you're multiplying by, the rationalizing factor. The results you want to get the fifth root of z raised to the fifth, because just like squaring undoes square roots, to something raised to the fifth power radical with the index of 5 will undo it. Okay, so let's go back here and answer this question. Question is what? Then we got to remember what? Whenever you multiply by the same radicals, what do you do with the exponents, class? Okay, hopefully you're saying add them, right? Sorry. Usually my students tell me. So you're going to add. So 1 plus what equals 5? Answer, of course, now is 4. That right here is the key step. Okay, now that you've done that, you need to stack it on top of each other, because anything divided by itself equals 1, like I said. So this is equivalent to 1. However, now what you do is you multiply across the denominator, which we've done. Z to the first times z to the fourth is z to the fifth, and you're taking the fifth root of it. Up on the numerator, what do you do? And you're multiplying everything by the fifth root, 7y. Notice that the exponents are all less than the index number. That's why you leave them underneath there. This is to the first. Okay? So I would have what? Fifth root of 7. Okay, here's y to the first, and then z would be to the what? Fourth. Okay, and that's because it's right here. Okay, so everybody comfortable with that? Hopefully that you've got that multiplied across. And now that we've done that, what's the good news? Down to the denominator, we've set this all up to rationalize it. When you take the fifth root of something raised to the fifth power, it neutralizes. Oops, sorry, I'm out of the screen. It neutralizes it. Let me come over here. It neutralizes it, and you have z. Okay, no different than z squared. I asked you to take the square root, because when you take the square root, the index is assumed to be a 2. And neutralize, giving you a z. Okay, so there's the z, and then the denominator we'll leave alone, and because there's nothing else to simplify with, and you're done. Okay, Mr. McHugh here. I think my first problem worked out on whiteboard here. Hopefully it went okay. I got a couple more to do for you. I'll try to use this technique. If I get students get stuck, I'll try to respond a little quicker than what I did here today and to help you out. Okay, do well on the test. Number 3. Take care. Bye.